Well, it's Wednesday, the 27th of July, 2010, and Apple just released some updates to their products, so let's have a look. Well, if you're like me, you love Apple, and you love when they release new products, so this is a big time of the year for Apple. They always release a bunch of new stuff midsummer, then sometime in September they usually have an iPod event. June, just last month, was WWDC, so Apple has really been working here, and it shows with the updates they released today, the 27th of Wednesday of 2010. First, I'm going to start off with the iMacs because I believe it's the biggest update. They upgraded basically all their iMacs. I have my notes down here. They have two 21.5-inch models, but now all of them have i3. Now the first model is just a dual-core i3. The second model is an i3 that supports hyper-threading, and that's basically like a quad-core system. So now Apple's really moving to the Intel processors, the iX. I just recently bought a Core i7 for a PC I'll be making into a Hackintosh, so i7 is going to be really fast. But even i3 for a consumer machine is still going to be a lot of power. So the basic specs for the base model, like I said, the 21.5 with the i3. The i3 is clocked at 3.06 gigahertz, which is like ridiculous. I think like this time last year, 3.06 was like the top end. Like I think like a Core 2 Duo or something, maybe an i7, I forget. But we just broke 3 gigahertz for like the baseline. So Apple's really pushing these Intel processors. You're gonna get 4 gigs of RAM. You're gonna get the ATI Radeon HD 4670. We're not gonna have that crappy old NVIDIA card anymore. Apple bumped back to ATI, so that's always good. You get a better video card, and you get a 500 gig hard drive, and that starts at 1200, 1199. So that's just like it's for a baseline of a computer. Those are some good specs. So now moving on, the second model iMac is going to be another 21.5-inch. You get the 3.2 gigahertz Core i3, which I believe you have an option to go to i5. Don't quote me on that, I'm not positive, but I believe you have the option. You get a terabyte hard drive. You get the ATI Radeon HD 5670, not the 4670. You get the 5670, and you get 4 gigs of RAM, and that's going to run you $14.99. So for $300 more, you get a faster processor, you get twice the hard drive space, and a better graphics card. So that's not bad for an extra $300, and you still get the gorgeous looking iMac. Like I said, the 21.5-inch display, that's a pretty good size. But now, dun dun dun, is where the magic happens with the third model. This is where you get the 27 inches. That's like the beefy monitor. The specs are basically the same as the previous model. Like it has the 3.2 gigahertz Core i3 with the i5 option. You have the terabyte hard drive. You have the 5670 and the 4 gigs of RAM, but you just get the 27-inch instead of the 21.5. So you get an extra 5.5 inches. So that's going to be $17.99. So now you're really starting to get up there. But I believe that the third model, I was watching Adrian DRB UK's video, and I agree with him that this model should start at the Core i5. It shouldn't start at the i3 with the i5 option. Uh, he said that in his video that if you have a 27-inch monitor and you're willing to throw $1,700 down for a computer, you're going to do some serious computing. You're not just going to go check your email. You're probably going to be doing some graphical editing, some video editing, some Photoshop, stuff like that. So if you want to buy that, like that big of a computer, that much of a computer, they should throw in the i5. I think that should be the next update. It should have been this update, I think, but definitely by next update, this should be an i5 by standard. Um, with the 27-inch monitor, you get a display, like a resolution of 2560 by 1440, which is just like ridiculous. Like my monitor now is 1440 by 900, so the 1440 is the width. Now I imagine that being like the height, and it's just like crazy, on a monitor that's like as big as my desk. So that would just be crazy. I'd kill for a 27-inch display. It'd be sick. And with that, you get the 5750 instead of the 5670. So all these like 50s and 60s and stuff. But yeah, you get the 5750 with 512 megs of RAM on it. So, but you still get this, like, the same 4 gigs, the terabyte hard drive. You get all that stuff. Now the top model iMac is going to 27 inches. It's going to run you $2,000, and it has the 2.8 gigahertz Core i5, which has the i7 option. Those are all quad core, so I think they'll have 8 threads, I believe. Quad core with hyper-threading 8 threads. So yeah, it has the same resolution because it's the same 27-inch. What was it? The 2560 by 1440. But now you get the 8-gen Radeon HD 5750 with a gig of RAM, not 512 megs. So it doubles the RAM in your graphics card, which would just be ridiculous. So I would definitely buy an iMac if it was more like a Mac Pro, like you had like PCI slots, you had more RAM slots, you could put more hard drives in there. But I also believe you get like a second hard drive option. You could have the operating system on a solid state drive and then have all your data on another hard drive. So your computer will boot super fast. Everything, when you open a program, it's open. You know, the solid state drives are wicked fast. So, but anyway, that's basically it for the iMacs. Overall, I think great update by Apple. I think the prices went up in the UK. Watching DRBUK's video, I'm not sure if they remained exactly the same here in the United States, but they might have. The prices look familiar, so I think they stayed the same here. But now, moving on to the trackpad, I'm not going to talk too much about this because this video is probably going to be kind of long. It's what you think. It's probably a trackpad, probably like as big as the number pad here. Just probably something like this. Probably some of the arrow keys as well. It's going to run you $70, but you could get it for your desktop. You know, all the MacBooks have the Magic Trackpad. You know, you could do like the pinch to zoom. It's kind of like an iPhone on your MacBook. And being able to do this on a desktop is fantastic. You know, other than video editing and like really serious stuff, you'll be able to just scroll through everything. If you want to zoom, you could just pinch. That was always kind of missing from the desktop. So now they have that. Or you could even buy it for your MacBook, because now the MacBooks, you know, if you buy a MacBook Pro, those have, you can get an i5 and that, you know, if you want to use it in desktop mode, you can have the wireless trackpad, which is just excellent. So now I want to touch on the Cinema display. Ridiculously expensive. I would never buy just an Apple display by itself because they are expensive. But that's not saying it's not gorgeous. That's not saying I wouldn't love to have it. It's the 27-inch 2560 by 1440. So it's basically the iMac without the Mac part. It's like just the display. Didn't really come out right, but you know what I mean. So you could pay $1,000 for that, or you could just pay like $200 more and get the whole iMac with it. So I don't know, but I would just go for the iMac. And last, I'm going to talk about the Mac Pro. There's just ridiculous amounts of power now. The baseline Mac Pro, they don't come out till August though, but it's going to be, let's see, $24.99. You're going to have the quad core 2.8 gigahertz. I think they're going to be Xeon. I'm not positive. Don't quote me on that. But you're also going to get 3 gigs of RAM, which I think should be up to like 6. If you're going to pay $2,500, I think you should get at least 6 gigs of RAM. And you're going to have a terabyte hard drive. But you know, you get the 4 hard drive bays, you get the RAM slots, so it's just a powerhouse. The next model is going to be 8 core, so you get 2 of the processors, 2 of the quad cores. So I believe you'll have 16 threads, and that's going to be $3,500. So you're paying an extra 10 Benjamins or an extra $1,000. 2.4 gigahertz, and you're going to have the Radeon HD 5770, which is a pretty good video card. I believe 512 megs of RAM. And the last option is just ridiculous. It's going to have 12 cores, so 2 6-core chips, which has a total of 24 threads. Absolutely ridiculous. They're going to be 2.66 gigahertz, or you can up it to 2.93 gigahertz, so almost that 3 gigahertz mark. And the starting price is going to be a whopping 50 Benjamins, $5,000. Ridiculous. If you drop $5,000 on a Mac Pro, then you better be working at like DreamWorks or Pixar or something, because that's just a ridiculous powerhouse of a machine. So that's basically it for this video. That's just a quick update, quick overview of the updates from Apple. If you have any questions, go and hit me up on Twitter at CPUKid. You can email me. You can post a comment on this video. You can rate it. It'd be cool. So thanks for watching.